Seed Exploration.
Extension Experience number 3 for the second grade, Unit 4 on Seeds. Video created by Court Ambrosino of the AAPS Environmental Education Program.
Hi learners, it's Mr. Ambrosino again from the AAPS Environmental Education Program. I heard that you were learning about seed dispersal strategies, or ways that plants spread their seeds to other spaces to grow. And I thought to myself, could I find any interesting seed dispersal phenomena today that I could capture on video to show you? Let's see what we can see, and afterwards, maybe you'll have a chance to make some observations of your own. Here are some carrot plants growing. You can see they're placed apart so that each plant has space to grow. Sometimes when farmers or gardeners plant seeds, they plant two seeds close together. They might do this on accident because the seeds were very small, or they might do it on purpose because they're worried one of the seeds won't germinate. These are baby carrot plants, seedlings that are too close together to grow healthily. I'll thin them by taking one of the plants out, leaving space for the other plant to get bigger and grow. Those carrot seeds were dispersed by an animal, me. But what about plants that are growing naturally? What strategies do they use to spread their seeds so that they don't compete for resources like sunlight, water, and nutrients from the soil? I'm going on a neighborhood walk to look for some seeds. I'll look at the shape and structure of each type of seed to see if I can infer, or use my prior knowledge to make an informed guess, how that type of seed spreads in nature. I noticed some seed heads on these tall grasses. When I look close, I see that these seeds basically just fall off into my hand. They're very small and they don't have any parachutes or structures that would help them fly. I'm thinking these pretty much just fall onto the ground near the parent plant, or perhaps get blown in the wind.
Do these seeds look familiar? They're a lot like the samaras that I showed from the silver maple trees in my first video. This is the samara of the Norway maple tree. The winged structure helps the seeds spread as they fall from the tree. Check out this cone I found from this giant Norway spruce tree. A spruce tree is a conifer, or a tree that produces cones. The cone houses the tree's seeds. When the scales open up, the seeds fall out. If you pull open the scales on a cone or tap it on your hand, you might see some of these seeds. I found two different types of trees that have seeds that grow inside a fruit or a pod. This is the hop hornbeam and the redbud tree. These pods are lightweight, filled with air, and when they fall to the ground, they open up and release the seeds. Just now, something that looked like cotton blew by in the breeze. Let me see if I can show you without it floating away. I think it's the seed of the cottonwood tree. I notice little wispy hairs connected to the seed that helps it float in the wind. Mr. Siegel found some jewelweed growing. Here you can see the jewelweed flower and the seed pods hanging below. When the seed pods are ripe and ready, a simple touch will open them up in an explosive flinging action.
I hear you're studying about seed dispersal. I know of a plant that has a pretty cool adaptation for dispersing its seeds. I'm out here in the marsh and I can see it's right here. It's called jewelweed, or sometimes it's called touch-me-not. And the touch-me-not part is going to happen when it makes a seed pod. It'll be able to explode and throw the seed a long distance. Right now, these plants aren't even making flowers, but pretty soon they'll have flowers, and by fall they'll have exploding seed pods, and it's fun to go touch them, and they fling the seeds quite a ways from the plant.
Here's a seed pod that I found last fall from a plant that was growing by the river. Can you hear the seeds rattling inside this pod? I noticed the seeds were housed inside of a papery husk. Check it out. That husk floats. Can you imagine the seed pod being dispersed by the river? There's one other phenomenon that I want to share today. In order to ensure the survival of their offspring, some plants produce seeds in huge quantities. Basically, this means the more seeds they make, the better the chance that some of those seeds will germinate and grow into baby plants. You might have seen a video of me showing the samaras from the silver maple trees at my house. The ground underneath the trees was literally covered in thousands of maple samaras. Only a small number of those seeds will find the right conditions to germinate and grow, and that's okay. It wouldn't be possible for every one of those seeds to grow healthily in that area because they wouldn't have enough space to get the things they need to survive. They would all crowd each other out. But as long as a few of them germinate and mature into adult plants that produce seeds, their genetic material will be carried forward and the species will carry on.
Some plants produce huge quantities of seeds. Some of the seeds will never germinate. Some of the seeds will germinate, but the seedlings will be eaten or will die. Some of the seeds will grow into adult plants.
You might have seen other plants before that use this strategy of creating large numbers of seeds, like dandelions do. Just a couple of weeks ago, my yard was covered in dandelion seed heads with dozens of tiny seeds blowing away on parachutes from each plant.
You might have also seen this plant called garlic mustard, which produces a huge amount of seeds and is an aggressive spreader. This is a non-native plant, which means it's not from Michigan. People brought it here. Because it spreads so easily by dispersing seeds in the wind, big patches of garlic mustard crowd out native plants that Michigan animals need for food and habitat. Every year in the spring, volunteers try to remove as much of this plant as possible before it flowers and starts dispersing seed.
So, I'm curious what kind of seed dispersal strategies you've noticed outside lately. Take a look at the information in the slides that I prepared for you and see if you can find some different kind of seeds yourself. Have fun!